All right, Tom, if you want to get us going, I'll call those applicants in.
Okay.
And
I'd like
it
to
is-
call to order the regular meeting for the Trinidad Tourism Board for the City of Trinidad at 9:12 on October the 14th, 2020. You know, take roll, Marty.
Campbell,
Here.
Kress,
Here.
Luttrell,
Here.
Michaels,
Here.
The comedy festival this year? Yeah, he was good for that dude, wasn't it? Yep, touch base with you soon.
we'll have to call for petitions or communications first.
Petitions or communications, oral or written? Did you want me to read that?
No, you don't.
What's that?
Just ask if there are any.
Is there any today? No. Board and applicant interviews?
We'll start with Ms. Martinez.
Hi, how are you?
I like it. I saw it last night. And it's Renee. Renee Martinez.
I actually already told him that. Everybody's up for me.
Hey, Renee, go stand behind that little line right there. You might see that. There you go. And I'll introduce you to the board. Camilla Campbell. Tom Kress is the chair. Cy Michaels is the vice chair. Amanda Luttrell is the other board member. This is Renee Martinez, the first applicant. Hello.
Renee, thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you making an application for the tourism board. You can begin.
So did we review her application and did we have any questions?
Yeah, I don't have your update in front of me, but I was gonna ask you, so what have you been doing with SCRT? I saw on there that you were helping with SCRT, is that right? No?
No.
I think that was one of the other applications.
One of the other
Yeah.
applicants.
Yeah.
You could just go ahead and talk a
And
little bit
so,
about
so one
yourself.
of the requirements for the tourism board is that you're really so passionate about tourism that your life somehow rotates around tourism, either with a major event or that you have a job or you do something volunteer-wise for tourism. So what do you feel like has brought in your knowledge about the tourism and the tourism that's needed in Trinidad?
Okay, I have to say I haven't had much experience with anything related to tourism, bringing it into Trinidad. I've been here for 2 years. I love Trinidad. I've attended most of the festivals, any type of events I try to get to that I'm aware of that my schedule permits. But I've been quite a tourist and I like to bum around and took a year on the road with my husband and our kids, and when we were on the road we had quite an array of events that we could go and see in other small towns, big cities, and how they coordinated some really fantastic ideas, and saw some really cool stuff that I thought we could kind of bring to the table and have some good ideas and like to work hard. And I think Trinidad is fantastic. I had an opportunity to fly in Walsenburg and we chose to come down south to Trinidad because I think it's great. I think it's going to boom, and I'm just excited to be here. And I want to do something to help out.
That sounds great.
So on her application, you do mention that you are employed by TM Ranch Outfitters?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be her connection to tourism.
Oh, yes, I did. Actually, I guess I didn't think about it that way.
Yes.
What
is TM Ranch Outfitters?
We do outfitting, big game outfitting east of Walsenburg.
Okay.
We're on a 50,000 acre ranch, and then we have the old Elks Lodge in town, and that's where we keep our hunters. So basically from the months of August to mid-November, we have a steady flow of men and women coming into town.
So the old Elks Lodge, that's where?
Catty corner from the post office on 6th Street, 135 East.
In Walsenburg?
In Walsenburg.
Mhm.
So we spend a lot of time there, and I guess I do work as a bit of a tour guide in Walsenburg with our hunters, taking them out to eat or directing them to places to go. There's sometimes things going on in Walsenburg at the Box Theater. They have a comedy night. They're trying to work on some comedy stuff going on down there too. I'm also working with the owner of the plaza, and we're trying to get some packages going to work our hunters out into the community, because she has a restaurant there, and then she's also taken over the golf course. So between us ladies are trying to make something happen with all these guys, and hunting and golfing and food.
So do you ever bring any of them down to Trinidad?
Actually, yes, there was a woman last year. She came, we have a few wives sometimes join their husbands, and her and I came down and showed her around and went to eat at the time the pizzeria was open. Bellina was open at the time, so we went and had lunch, and of course I'd go to Walmart and always kind of direct people down to Trinidad. We're kind of foodies, so we like to be out on the restaurant scene and bring our family and friends. And
We would appreciate that, because there's a lot of things that they might interest them here in
Do you work there every day? Or just when, during hunting season?
just during hunting season.
Yes, that's what I mean, during
We have
hunting.
groups of guys, or we have groups of clients coming in. Most of the time it's a 5-day hunt. On a rare occasion it's a 10-day hunt if they're doing back-to-back animals, depending on the season, depending on what they're hunting for. So we'll have a group of people come in, and then we'll have a few days off to get the building back in shape and let
Just
the animals
FYI, I've
rest.
had 2 different groups from the Walsenburg area that said their husbands were hunting up in Walsenburg.
Oh.
That came down to Trinidad. They were solo, but it was 2 ladies. Both times were 2 ladies, so there you go.
Yeah.
They do make their trip down to Trinidad.
They do.
Yes.
And a lot of people from Walsenburg do.
Yes.
Walmart is the closest, and have everything we need down here.
Do you have any ideas specifically to benefit to the tourism board with like Trinidad Fisher's Peak acquisition that's coming up? I guess my question is, we have a lot of things that we have to look forward to right now with the acquisition of Fisher's Peak, more restaurants, the comedy festival that's going to be here right now. So is there anything that you feel like you can offer to us during this time, or do you have any ideas specifically that are going to help us move forward with this acquisition and make sure that we're providing the best tourist experience for the people that are coming in?
I'm an avid outdoors woman. I'm an archer myself. I was hoping that maybe some sort of like kids camp, youth camps, getting out, bringing kids and young adults also to the area, doing outdoor camps. I know a lot of people that are familiar with the flora and fauna of the area, maybe going out to some harvesting at different times of the years, mushrooms, flowers, herbs, different types of plants that are out there, and try to get the community or people interested in getting out into the Fisher's Peak region, which has been kind of cut off from everybody.
Totally.
So to get out there and get some footwork in, and maybe have some sort of movies out there, connected with the people in Box Theater in Walsenburg, and they just purchased an inflatable screen or screening movies outside.
Huh.
So I thought that might be something interesting that we could all coordinate, being that we do have such a connection with the Walsenburg and Trinidad area, and it would be good for them as well. Just excited that it's opening up.
Totally. And I think what we've learned too over this last year, everybody has, but especially with being a tourist-based movement, we have to move things to being outdoors and being safe and being something that people feel comfortable coming to Trinidad, knowing that they're going to have options so that their families and themselves are going to stay healthy and well. So like the outdoors thing that you've got going on, I think is really interesting. I think that's really part of what our future platform of marketing is going to be. We need to get people to understand how beautiful it is to go and explore the flora and the fauna, and to see what activities you used to always think would be an indoor activity, but movies outside, things that you can just kind of just branch out and be creative with. So cool. Okay.
Camilla, you have any other questions for her?
Did you ever look into the tourism board and what we do here?
No, I didn't. I had actually was kind of prompted by Carlos Lopez, because the Lopezes were the first family that I met when I moved to Trinidad.
Mm-hmm.
And him and his mom have just been fantastic with me and my family over the years, even prior to him running. And he's kind of always been my go-to man. When I see something in town, I send him a message or call, and he's like,
Okay.
just get out there and apply for some boards and get involved in the community, and so you could do something more hands-on than just putting in a phone call to Carlos and his busy life. So that's how it came to be. I saw the ad in the paper, and that's why I applied.
It just, sometimes I wonder, which, I was clueless too, of what we do on the tourism board, and I was clueless when I came in onto this, of what we did. Everybody knows that, I'm still clueless. Where we get our money from, what do we do with our money? Have you heard, have you read about us in the paper, what we do with our money, how we go about doing what we do?
I've tried to keep up as far as a couple of different boards, and the urban revitalization boards and the urban spaces that are being opened up, and just trying to bring money in to put on festivals, or put on events to bring people into town. And I wasn't sure, is that grant money or is that money earned through?
It's earned through a sales tax on
What's tax?
motels.
On motels.
Any
On lodging facilities.
Lodging
any person that
facilities.
stays overnight, there's, what is it, 3%?
Yes.
3% tax on what they spend at a hotel. There's
Or
campgrounds, Airbnbs, and at the every quarter we get that tax sent in from all of the hotels and lodging places all over town. And we use that money specifically for marketing purposes and advertising, so that we can draw and bring people into Trinidad. That is our sole goal, and our sole purpose is to market and make Trinidad to the rest of the country, or wherever you are coming from, a place to be and a place to come and visit. So.
And we also have a certain amount of money set aside for grants for any organization that is putting on an event, and we're able to help them with their advertising outside of a 50-mile radius of Trinidad.
So like the Blues Fest, like the Art Arcade, all of those things, the tourism board does contribute to, and because they're tourist attractions, they're things that bring people in from all over the place. So that's just kind of a little bit more about
What we do.
Right.
We try to bring people into Trinidad to get them to stay into our motels and our bed and breakfast. That's where we collect our money.
Sure.
The city doesn't give us the money. That's where we collect our money to be able to give it out to the community.
And I think another thing too is that we work together as a board, but also as individuals in our own positions, our careers. We're also ambassadors for Trinidad. So, for example, I work at Bob and Earl's Cafe, and every tourist that comes in, I have a list of things that they can go and do. I have a kind of a spiel, if you will, of things that I want people to see while they're here, because I truly care about them, and find them to be beautiful, and find them to be something worth 2-hour drive, around the Highway 12 loop is something that's going to bring them back to this area. So those are the kind of things that we're looking for in a new board member, is somebody who is truly an ambassador for Trinidad, who really wants to bring people here because they love it themselves. They want to share it with other people. So that's just a little bit more about what we're looking for and what we want. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you know where I work, so.
I do.
Okay, so,
Try to support
and
all the
I'm
businesses.
truly an ambassador for Trinidad, because I keep somebody there for quite a long time talking about Trinidad and our Fisher's Peak and what to do. So, and you know that.
I do.
Yeah.
I do the same. I guess I'm lucky that I was born and raised in Walsenburg. I spent several years apart, but came back to this part of the state for a
I don't
reason.
know, do they have a lodging tax there, or do they have a tourism board in Wilsonburg?
I'm not sure if they have a tourism
I don't
board.
think they do, so.
I know there's
that would be a big fight if I lived in Wilsonburg. What I would do is I would take that to the city and install that.
Correct.
You've got
Yeah.
those extra rooms that have just been done on that Best Western, and there's a lot of B&Bs, and try and get a tourism tax going
That's
there.
interesting. I wonder what they
It's
do
really
with that.
We'll have to speak to
especially,
somebody.
I mean, the city's always had problems. You mentioned that golf course. It's a great golf course. The city's always had problems with that. And marketing certain things, although Walsenburg looks better than ever, it would help Walsenburg to ordinary have a tourism tax there
I'm gonna
too.
speak with
Especially
them.
with that new water park they put up and all the things, yeah.
I'll speak with a friend of mine and see if there is. If anything, it'd be nice for us all to link up and.
Yeah.
bring some people down.
Well, you know, I think between us, Raton, Walsenburg, Levita, Kachera, we all try to work together on everything to try to bring in people. And like Amanda said, we're always telling people about Highway 12 to go up there, because a lot of people that come into Trinidad do not realize what beautiful mountains we have. So I do send them on that day trip. I tell them it only takes a couple hours to go up there and back and turn around and come home. And I do tell them a lot to go in there and just visit, stop and visit each town. The Kachar, Levita, Walsenburg, get out and walk around and come back home. So we all try to manage everything together. We're like a little group down here, and with the Fisher's Peak, we're trying to work very hard with Raton. And I think Walsenburg is in that mix too, with the Lake State Park and the Highway of the Legends and that bicycle trail. I think we're all trying to do the same thing to build us up.
It's pretty interesting. I was at a restaurant in Kachera this weekend, and I was overhearing a realtor talk, and she was talking about where Trinidad sits. I mean, where this whole valley sits is 2 hours from Alamosa, 2 hours from Taos, 2 hours, but the central location of this valley right here is to the central locations to where it's all out within 2 hours if you stay here. You know, and I thought it was really a really good thing that she was talking about.
That's great. What realtor was that?
I don't know who it was, but they were just talking, and one of the things that really caught me was how many people involved in rodeos live in this area, because it's central to the whole United States as to where they can go to and just be right here. If they want to go to Vegas, they're not far, or Oklahoma, Wyoming. You know, this is kind of like an area where there's a lot of these rodeo people are starting to come to. But it was really interesting to hear her talk about it. All the places that are, and she was giving her just point blank, giving her all the places to go to within the radius of this area right here. So it was pretty interesting to hear that.
And I could definitely agree with the rodeo life. My brother-in-law's a bull rider, so rodeo is also a big part of our life. We head to all the little towns all around and do Vegas at Christmas for finals, and there's a lot of boys out there and young women out there doing rodeo and kind of travel in packs to different parts of New Mexico, here in Colorado, out east. I'd like to have some more rodeos in Trinidad too.
Do you have any other questions for us, or anything about what the requirements are?
This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. How often do you meet? What is an average meeting, or the agenda look like? Or
we meet twice a month, and our meetings last anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours, probably at the most.
We do meet at 9 o'clock here lately. We've been on screen, Zoom or
Virtual.
Google.
Right.
And we came in, which is rarity for the interviews. We usually, because of the virus, we have not been meeting inside. We've been just staying at home and talking on the computer, our wonderful little computers. So sometimes, but it is twice. It's second and fourth Wednesdays. At 9 o'clock in the morning, we meet.
And how are decisions voted on? Is it a unanimous vote? As far as
not always unanimous, but the majority rules. But I think we have one regular meeting a month and then one workshop. So the workshop we discuss everything, and the regular meeting then we vote, and then we vote on whether we do a lot of ads in different magazines. So Marty lays out the ads what we are doing, and that's in a workshop. And then the next meeting we vote on the ad, or we look at the ad, and same as grants. Though we have a workshop, people come to us for money. We discuss it, we talk about it, and the following week we make our vote. And that's how we do it. We don't vote and do a workshop in one day unless it's really, really necessary. There's a deadline or something like that, but that's not generally the case. So we do vote on everything, but we also talk amongst ourselves what is best.
We do also put together a very large budget,
Yes.
an annual budget that kind of breaks up every every bit of that tax money and allocates it to certain areas. So me coming in, I was very inexperienced with budgets, really had no idea how to work with that much money and kind of make sure that it was all going to the right place, but we've got a good sense of communication with each other. So I think that that's, you know, if you have experience with any sort of budgeting, as a mother, I'm sure you do, you know, but coming in and just making sure that you understand exactly what's going on, ask questions, you know, making sure that things are crystal clear for you so that you are on the same page as everybody else. Communication is totally key, so.
We're here to help our community too. We really want to help out different organizations that are trying to bring people to Trinidad or just to get started. So we try to help them as much as possible.
Yeah.
And Marty's standing up. So,
Because our time is up.
Thank
and we
you.
have another applicant that we have to interview, so, any last questions real quick, Renee, are you?
Not off
you
the
all
top
good?
of my head, I'm just happy to be here and
Okay.
come and have an interview and just trying to get involved in my community and raising my children here, and I want to show them you gotta get involved if you want to make it what it needs to be. So it's a good community, and I think Trinidad is, and that's why I'm here.
okay.
Thanks so much, and thanks for loving Trinidad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do.
Thank you for your
Thank you
time.
Bye.
So Renee, after the board makes the decisions, then the, city council reviews their selection, so I will be in touch with you. All right, you're welcome.
This is the guy with the SRT.
Oh,
Hey Chris, if you can stand behind this little line right here. And I don't know if you know our board, Camilla Campbell, Tom Kress, our chairman, Cy Michaels, our co-chair, and Amanda Luttrell, Mr. Chris Smith, and I think Chris applied. Chris Miller. Applied previously. You have his packet and his application, so we can start with any questions. Thank you for coming, Chris.
So what's going on with SERT?
I was going to get into that. SCRT is basically going away. Legally, SCRT has to be used for a while.
Right.
But can I remove this to talk to you, or at least
I don't know
least
the rules.
listen?
I don't know if the rules allow that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know some of the history. The professional part of that was intended to survive, take care of itself, and move forward, but it was losing money. Last summer, the board made a decision to basically suspend the summer season because of the debt that was putting the theater in. Shortly after that, Bush was retired. The board then was kind of left the dilemma, what do we do? Then boom, we got a pandemic, and the board was preparing to just basically sell all the assets, try to pay off the debts, and just shut it down because there was nothing to go forward with. Gloria Hall, who's our president, talked to SBA. We wound up getting a loan.
Did you get any PPE funds?
Yeah, I don't know the details on the loan, but it's one that we've got 30 years to pay it off. And we discussed what we could do if we took the loan, because again, we had to have more assets than just money, people, not only to see the shows, but to direct and act in the shows. We then decided that basically needed to start fresh. SCRT was a great experiment, but it didn't work. TCT, the community theater, was just kind of there too to fill the months between the summer season. So the decision was made to change the theater to community theater and live entertainment. First thing we put in was the comedy shows we've been doing lately. We will do more events like that. And then we will also have a community theater season. And then a summer season that is really more attuned to tourism. With that in mind, we needed to change the name, and we found that everybody really liked Main Street Live, which is what it will now be called. SERT is being pushed out of the marketing, and eventually everything will be changed legally. But because it's not a repertory theater anymore. So that's it.
Right.
In a nutshell, we're Main Street Live.
Yeah.
We'll be doing comedy. We'll be doing the musical entertainment, events for the city and the area, and hopefully come out of that, because the community theater was actually operating in the black. So hopefully when we move forward, we don't have to constantly be asking, this committee, the city, other entities for, great amounts of money, because the professional theater just could not make it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
that was our decision, and we hope it's the right one. Got to move forward. Going to be launching next week with an article explaining to everybody what we're doing. I get people say, I heard the theater's sold, I hear this, I hear that. And then, you ask, a lot of people are wondering what's going on.
Right, because I saw the comedy shows advertised there, so I was
Right,
wondering.
so we're going to announce it to everybody. We're going to have a new sign out front, and it's going to be Main Street Live.
No, it's great. I really appreciate that.
How have the comedies been doing?
Well, of course, we're restricted to 40 seats. Out of about 120 that we have in there, and it's been pretty full. They've been relatively successful, thanks to the dispensaries that Mr. Wallace has been able to get to cover the cost of the show. I mean, they're operating in the black, and they're slowly growing as people get comfortable, getting out of their house and going to the theater. So,
Glorious.
What makes me feel good about is we gave them a $10,000 grant to start. So that's what I like seeing about that, moving on into Main Street Live. We helped it on its feet, and now it's getting legs of its own to run. So that was a good thing. I feel that come out of the tourism board. We gave them a $10,000 grant, and that's a good thing, I see.
well, I think the theater. I've been here 3 years. Been involved with the theater for 2. Several other organizations that I work closely with. The farmers market, obviously not this summer, but and other things that I think the theater has a place, and needs to survive. It needs to help, but there's a lot of other entities in town. That the money needs to be spread out a little bit more than I think maybe it was in the beginning for SCRT. So this gives basically other people a break. Going after money instead of somebody always beating on the door, needing more and more and more.
Yeah, I've always believed in the community theater as a real asset. A few of the things that, it's off-site of this meeting to talk about, but I've always thought could be other things. Glenwood Springs and also Cripple Creek do a great rendition almost every Friday or Saturday of the ragtime show, and the girls, and they do the kicks and the whole bit, and tourists flock there. It's sold out every time I've ever been. It's the same show, but local people can count on telling them from hotels there's an old ragtime show, and it's funny, and it's slamming with forks, and it's really a hilarious show. So it's
I've been up there and seen it. I've had some friends that were in the show.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a melodrama this summer, or actually next September, in association with the bicentennial of the Santa Fe Trail.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah. Well, your resume had a ton of tourism on it. So by you coming to Trinidad and being part of Trinidad and being at SERT and loving tourism, how do you think the board would benefit by having you on it?
Well, I didn't come to Trinidad with the intentions of jumping into
I don't think
or
any of us do.
tourism. You know, I was actually getting away from it. I had such a visible presence in Amarillo and Canyon, Panhandle, and then also the rest of the state because of 23 years managing the Amarillo Civic Center, which was a focal point, you know, in that area for tourism, conventions, concerts, and then running Texas Musical Drama, which was one of the largest tourist attractions in Texas, and especially the Panhandle. I wanted to just kind of sit back, and I live 10 miles north, out in the prairie, me and the eagles and the antelope and my dog, and I just couldn't stay away. Plus, I came to Trinidad because I remember growing up, my sister and brother-in-law were stationed at Fort Carson, and I rode with my mom and dad to go see them. We would come through Trinidad. My mom always said, "That's a cute little town, we should stop there." But we didn't. Well, I started stopping there when I was trying to help a guy with a gold mine up near Denver to do a tourism thing. And that's when I really got into town and meeting some people. And so I made the decision when I retired the second time to move here rather than New Mexico was what my original intention was. And I just fell in love with the people in the area. And I saw so much opportunity that I thought, well, I've got a lot of experience in tourism. I still have some ideas, I think. And so I wanted to get involved to see if there were some ideas that hadn't already been tried or thought of or thrown out, that I might still have, because, it's all there, and it's, part of my everyday thinking of what this area could do and what this building might do. And so I was hoping that there was still something up here left to give to the community and to be part of this board, to do so, and work with people that are obviously working towards the same goal.
I think moving forward with advertising and marketing, we're going to see a lot more technology, and especially with the pandemic, touchless, contactless kind of are the things that we want to make sure the tourists are coming in and feeling safe, to still explore the community, but have a way to make sure that they themselves and their families are staying safe. Do you have experience from the previous tourism board with moving toward a more technological platform? I know that's something we base a lot of our ads on in magazines, but I do understand that we do need to start moving toward some sort of online presence.
I don't think we can, anybody, any place, any attraction, anything can move forward without that your social media presence, a good, easy to use website, all of those things. But you still need to rely on some of the traditional marketing tools that you have, billboards, promotions in other markets, bringing, giving people a reason to come in. Obviously, print in areas, even broadcasting, because you're trying to stop people, coming through that might be coming here. So I think there's a good mix of all that, and as far as my experience. I learned all my marketing, all my education, everything else. There wasn't even the word Facebook, and when I first started. But I had the opportunity to get more involved with it, more in the musical Texas, because it was really there. We had the tools we needed to have a presence online, and did that. And I was smart enough to know to hire somebody to come in and do those jobs. But my degree from East Texas A&M University is in marketing. I did all of the marketing for the Emerald Civic Center for 23 years. And then when I first went to work, after I retired from the city of Amarillo, I'd been on the advisory council for Texas Musical Drama for the Texas General Heritage Foundation almost the whole time I was with the city. So they needed help in marketing. So I went and started doing their marketing, wound up getting in the show, getting more involved, and then was asked to actually be the executive director. But it was the marketing that I started with there. And I apologize, it's not easy to breathe in it. And that's where my real interest in tourism, developing events, promoting events, all that, we got that, but the marketing of tourist attractions, the marketing of a city, all of that is basically what I've done most of my life, is getting people to notice the attraction. Trinidad has such an opportunity with the designation of Fisher's Peak and the development of that. With you can't drive through a beautiful little town with the history that this city has. Just making sure that people know it and give them a reason to stop, I think is very important. I mean, the pot shops are great. They're bringing money in. They're doing a lot of business. They're bringing people in.
Traffic.
A lot of those people come and go back home. A lot of them come here and then go on. But some of them are, obviously seeing this is a nice place. If we give them something to do, which, there is a lot to do here, I think that's going to grow in the future as the pot shops go away. Things change, give those people a reason to come back to Trinidad.
You being in marketing, I like the way you say we have to be involved in all of them. Paper, online, all phases of it. And that's basically where we're at. We're in all those phases, of advertising. And I like that sense that listening to you talk about you have to be involved in all of it, and we are. So we are going down a good path. I do believe we are there.
One thing about marketing is there is no perfect or set way to do it. There's so many different ways, and you can have 4 people on a marketing committee and have 4 different ideas, and they're not necessarily any of them better than the other. They're ideas, and you've got to see what your best advantages are, see what direction suits you, as well as that you can easily get there. There may be a great opportunity, but it may be cost prohibitive, or there's several reasons why you might not do it, and that's why it's good to have at least a collective discuss it.
Right.
As long as everybody has an open mind and will at least explore the possibility of other ideas.
Do you have any questions for us about the tourism board?
I know a little bit because I have applied before, and I talked to a lot of people. I work with a lot of people, especially working with the theater, working with the farmers market and things. I don't think so. Other than just asking a question to ask a question, it was not necessary.
Okay.
I just know that I'm here to help if I can.
Okay.
If not, I'll still help.
All right.
Alright.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your love for Trinidad and all you're doing to keep the downtown alive and put energy down there.
Thank you. Trinidad deserves it. So
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
We'll stay in touch.
Okay. By the way, my hat's made out of buffalo here. Because I helped promote the Charles Goodnight House there in Goodnight, Texas.
Oh, nice.
That was one of my, I didn't get paid. Just got a hat.
I've got to have.
Very nice.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now you can make a decision or a choice between the two applicants, and that decision will be sent forward to City Council for their approval.
Can we discuss a little bit?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we have about 7 minutes before the other people are online.
Okay.
You go
Okay,
first,
give us
Amanda.
5.
So, my question is, what, if he's applied before, what has been the draw to not?
There was
want
just
him
a
on board?
conundrum, it was right in the middle of the conundrum when we were allowed to take people in from the county. And that wasn't
Okay.
really it, that was kind of out there, but we had like 5 applicants and we chose one.
He was-
or
he
two.
was very
missed it.
close.
He was very close.
He was very
Yeah.
close.
But it wasn't
I think it was
something-
you. I think it was
I think it was you.
Was
To be
it?
honest with you.
Yeah,
Don't you
we
remember
selected
him?
No.
you.
It was Nancy.
No.
It was Nancy.
It was-
Okay, it was Nancy.
So it's just, it was a location thing.
Yeah, so
I guess.
that's anything
Okay.
that we found.
We liked him. We did
Yeah.
like him, but we went with Nancy. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if all
Well,
of us
Nancy,
did,
you
but
know, we all evolve. It doesn't matter if we're on the board, the
Yeah.
world, COVID's evolved us.
Mhm.
It was
True.
just, it wasn't that there was anything negative about him.
No.
It was that,
Okay.
just that,
I was
that
just- yeah,
one
question.
glitch that we didn't know because he was out in the county.
Okay,
And then we found out later that it was okay,
okay.
Yeah.
okay?
One of the things that I think points out to me right away is, I know, and that should have been a question that I asked, but how long, if he has already retired twice and has gotten out of the tourism industry, how long do we think he's going to be with this board
SCRT?
specifically? Or
No,
interested in
with us.
being on this board? And that's just a long-term thing, that's just something to think about, you know, as far as, you know, we can utilize people for 1-2 years and definitely learn something from them and have a benefit from them, even if it's just a short time. But that is something to just kind of think about if it's a,
One of the things about the question you asked was, he stepped into a whole new venue now.
Mhm.
And he's
You know,
been there
so-
for a while, a year
So,
or two.
and he's in there in the makings of a whole new thing, so there's probably a lot that he's gonna help them with that there, you
Okay.
know, and what I like is he's involved in something
That's benefit-
that
that-
is, and it's taken a whole new direction.
Yeah, and he's been involved with
You
it for a
know.
while. I'm gonna say, what do you think, Marty, 1 or 2 years he's been with?
Probably about 1.5 years, and
Okay.
now he's actually joined in to help with the Santa Fe Trail Bicentennial.
Yeah,
He's
I think he's committed,
he's committed to the community.
yeah. Hmm.
It's
and
like-
on Renee's factor, she's young, and we need young people.
right.
Like you said, I don't know how long, but his knowledge is really good.
His experience.
And
No, I like her too. She doesn't nearly qualify as somebody that really focuses on Walsenburg versus here, but surely she's someone that we should get to know and help encourage her. If
well, I
she's
would like to
not
help her
selected
encourage her
here-
because she's up in
if-
Walsenburg,
yeah,
for
if
goodness
she's not,
sake.
yeah, encourage her if she doesn't get that position here. I would like to encourage her to get them a tourism tax, because Walsenburg could really help themselves and help Southern Colorado by having that tax instilled if it's
Oh, I
not.
definitely agree. But like I said, on one note, she is young, she's not that young, but she is younger than me, I know that for a fact.
I think about her, it seems like her focus is mostly on Walsenburg at this point. You know, I'm not
Her
saying
involvement
that.
is mostly on
Right,
Walsenburg.
Right.
Being that she's from Walsenburg
Right.
and that's where
Right,
she's
you
spent
know.
most of her life. But yeah, and I get what
And you know,
mean
and,
by that,
and
yeah.
our focus is just Trinidad.
Yeah.
You know, and like Cy said, you know, I think Cy put something in her head to maybe go to Walsenburg, you know, but I do realize that she does live in Trinidad now, you know, but even her business is based in Walsenburg, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Alright, does somebody make a motion?
Well, I would make a motion to give our nomination for city council, our support from Chris Miller, who has, that's it. I guess that's all I have to say.
Second?
And I'm gonna second that. And on a side note, I do really like Renee. though.
I do too.
I do too,
I do
just
too.
on a side note.
But I mean, if
I
I
like
was
her
just like
personally.
resume to resume.
Right, right.
Yeah, I do like her personally too. I
Yeah.
don't know her that well, but I do know her, and
Yeah,
I do like her.
yeah, I liked her too, just knowing it, but, you know, just, yeah, resume to resume.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know a lot more right off. So is that a second?
I second it. Anybody else?
Vote.
Vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Camilla?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Si?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Send our recommendation to council.
And I would really like to encourage her with, you know, if we could, you know, just that follow-up note that we're really impressed with what she's doing in the Walsenburg area. If she would like any information about how we did our tourism tax or whatever that's online.
Yeah, I
you
would
know.
like her to encourage her.
Yeah.
Tell her to come into the shop and encourage her. We could maybe help her with the Walsenburg something,
All
you
right,
know.
I'll do that.
You know, I think it's good for Walsenburg, will be they have motels. Blues Fest filled them all up in Walsenburg, so there you go. And I just shut my computer and have to probably do that all over again. Whoa, Camilla was a bad move. No, it's there.
Next is visit widget.
Okay, so online on the GoToMeeting, that's why I wanted you to be logged into your GoToMeeting. Ryland Amandrud, is that Ryland? Is that how I pronounce that? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so I have downloaded the visit widget proposal that you gave us a bit ago, and everybody should have that in their packet. They've all got it open and they're all looking at it. Do you have a few words that you'd like to say to start this off so that you can do your own personal presentation? And Rylan, you have 10 minutes. I'm the only one that's actually in the GoToMeeting, but they can all hear you, and they are all looking at the print presentation that you presented earlier.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
I also see Eric Dahlke. Is he with you as well?
Here, I thought you put it up
Yes,
there.
Eric Dahlke is our co-founder and director of product for Visit Widget. So he's going to be the one that's going to be going over the presentation about Visit Widget.
Can you all hear Rylan?
Yes.
All right. I don't know who I've got you in front of council, so I'm going to point you in the direction of our chairman. Let's see if I can get in there. Okay.
Hello, everybody. You've got Eric here with Visit Widget. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And Marty, do you want me to share my screen to walk through the demo today?
Well, they all
I would take it. I want to get out of that, but.
they have the proposal, but if you have something different, absolutely. Let me see how I do that.
See, I'm going to hook you up to the internet.
Let me see how I share my screen. Hold on.
You might have to allow me to share my screen so they can see it.
Right, I'm trying to figure that out real quick.
Okay.
I have to make you the host, but I don't remember how to do that. Settings. Maybe it's people.
You're not even.
Never remember how to do this. Okay, so Eric, make presenter. Okay, you're the new presenter. See if you can do it now.
There you go. You should be seeing my screen coming through now with your website showing up.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Well, nice to meet everybody. we'll walk through Pagosa Springs. So, as Rob mentioned, this is Eric. I'm the co-founder and product manager of Visit Widget, and this is a platform that we started building about 7 years ago, specifically designed for the tourism industry. So we wanted to create a much more interactive and intuitive visit planning process for people, but also enable them to take their plan with them on mobile devices when they're on the go and actually in destination. So we're based out of Austin, Texas. We launched the platform about 3.5 years ago. We're currently partnered with a little over 130 different EMOs and CTTBs across the U.S. So if this is of interest, if you guys like what you see, we're happy to provide references so you can hear about our client's experience with us. Now you guys should be seeing visitpagosasprings.com on screen now. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. So let's just pretend we're planning a trip out to Pagosa. I Googled and landed on their website. And as I'm navigating their site, I see this button sticking with me in the top right-hand corner that says Plan Your Trip. Can y'all see that coming through? Mm-hmm. Okay. So that is our widget button that's designed to match the look and feel of each client's site. It can be placed wherever you want, say whatever you want, and it is globally available. So no matter what page I go to or where I'm scrolling, I always see it. It catches my eye, and when I click on it, it opens up the branded instance of Visit widget right in line on the client's site. So it's not taking me away from Visit Pagosa Springs, it's just providing this immersive map-based tool right in line on their site. With a quick tutorial about how to use it, I can swipe through and find out how to pick my interest and fill out my plan, or I can exit out and click Get Started at any time. Now with Pagosa, the first thing that I see is this map-based view with all of the things to do. So it just gives me a good idea, as to where the different attractions are. I can pan in and zoom around and start adding stuff of interest directly to my plan. So if I want to add this particular activity, I can click Add. The visual indicator flies into my plan, letting me know that I'm building an experience and where I can access that later. Now, one of the key things I want to point out here is all of the content that you're seeing. So dining options, events, attractions, everything is sourced directly from our client's existing website or CRM. So we've got an integration that we've set up, and I know you guys have a WordPress site. Over 90 of our clients are running WordPress. And what happens is we set up the integration to run every hour and check for any updates that y'all are making. So as you update restaurants or lodging or add events to the calendar, it automatically synchronizes across the widget in the app, so you don't have to go and make updates in multiple places. So I'll go ahead and add this growing company to my plan. And then I'm going to pop over to the tour section. Now, the content hierarchy is configurable with each client. So we sit down during the kickoff process and try to understand what your most prominent attractions are, how you want things listed. But ultimately, it's up to you, and we do make recommendations based on what we see working best. Now, tours are a great way to provide people with recommended itineraries. So if I'm a new visitor to Pagosa, I don't really know the area, I'm going to rely on the locals to tell me what to do to get the most out of my time. So they've got 2 different tours set up here. You can create as many as you want, and you can order them however you like. You can even unpublish them if they're seasonal. So if clients have fall foliage tours, they can remove them during the summer and add them back the next year without having to delete them completely. And when I click on one of these, it gives me a cover photo for it, the estimated travel time, the amount of stops, the recommended sequence, and I can even map it, and it shows me exactly where that tour is going to take me. So I can see exactly how I'm going to go from A to B to C. I'll go ahead and add that to my plan, and that's when I'm given the opportunity to sign up and save my plan so I can take it with me. So I can sign up, the client would receive my name and email address, they would know what interest category and which specific attractions I added to my plan, so they can mark it back to me to try to encourage a secondary visit. However, I don't have to sign up, I can exit out of the guest mode, and the tool is still completely functional for anonymous users. Now at this point, I'll pop over and view my plan, and more than just a listing, I've got a fully routed out itinerary, which I can still make edits to. So I can drag and drop between items to adjust the sequence of my plan depending on the order I want to take. I can also add a starting point, either using my current location, which will append my position here in Austin all the way out to Pagosa, or I can just pretend that I'm in somewhere close, ready to go, and pop in a location and it will start me out from that position. Now people can even click Start Plan, which is going to break down each segment of their trip, both textually visually on the map, and it provides the estimated travel time between each component. And I'm not going to be carrying my laptop around as I explore Pagosa, so I can name my plan, my weekend trip, or whatever I want to call it, and I can share it either to myself or my travel group by email, or I can post it on social. It also has web to text support, so I can just pop in my phone number, hit send, and I now have my exact itinerary right on my smartphone via a link that I can click on to review and have on the go when I'm actually out in the area. Now that's all of the widget components. I'll jump into the apps really quick, and then I'll pause for any questions that people have. So let me get my phone showing up on screen here. So the first thing I like to point out on the apps is, how we help clients get the word out that there's an app available for their area. So we use something called a smart app banner, and you should be seeing my phone on screen right now. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So anytime you hit one of our client sites from your mobile device, it detects that you're coming from a smartphone and immediately makes you aware there's an app available. With quick access, jump straight to the download page in the App Store or Google Play. So that works really well because most of our clients are seeing anywhere from 60 to 80% of their website traffic coming from smartphones. Now once I have the app installed, I can jump into it, and the first thing that I see as a brand new user is a quick tutorial. So it just explains how to navigate the app, helps people understand what features are available, and it uses what we call progressive onboarding. So it's explaining to me how I'm going to benefit from location access and push notifications. So we're not just bombarding people with a bunch of prompts right when they first launch the app. And these are all configurable, but we do provide a base template so people don't have to start from scratch. Now within the Pagosa app, they're using our side menu design, so it's very similar to the experience you would see in Facebook or Instagram that has immediate content delivery and infinite scrolling, throughout all of the attractions. When I find something of interest, I can open it up to get more information about it. I can click to call, view their website, or map it to get routed straight there. So it works well even if I'm not a detail-oriented planner. Maybe I'm out in the area just looking for somewhere to eat. I can pop over to the dining section. I can sort by distance, what's closest to me, what's furthest away. I can select what type of cuisines I'm craving. And even if I'm not in the area, I can pop over the map view and zoom in to where I'm going to be later in the day and find something that matches my interest and either add it to my plan right from the carousel slider or open up the detail view with more information about that particular location. So it works well even for people that are just using it as a tool to find stuff nearby their current location. So the tours are built into the apps. Pagosa is also using our challenges feature, which allows people to complete a challenge by checking in at multiple businesses or stops. So as long as somebody is within the appropriate radius of ski and boat rack, then they can check in, and after they check in at a certain threshold of the stops on this challenge, then they get notified that they've completed the challenge and they submit their entry, and the DMO or CTTB can reach out with next steps about picking up their prize or whatever they accomplish. I can also, see my plan within the app. I can make edits to it, add a starting location, and it will route me out and show me my current location as I navigate through each segment of my trip. Push messaging is also built into the apps, as well as location-based messaging, so we can trigger a message when someone gets nearby a particular attraction, or you can shoot out a message to everybody about any kind of updates you have. A lot of clients are using those for COVID-19 updates right now, but they can be about major events that are happening, or really anything you want to inform people about. So that is the super quick overview, and I'm at my 10-minute mark there, so I'll pause and just see if there are any questions, or if that made sense to you guys.
So there's an app that's available, and also it's a website. Is that correct? The widget is a website?
The Visit widget includes the interactive web widget that is embedded on our client sites, as well as a branded app for the App Store and Google Play, all of which we develop and manage for the client.
Okay. Is the app free for download?
100% of our clients choose to have the app for free. That is what we recommend. Even if you want to charge $1 for the app, it's going to substantially reduce the amount of downloads that you receive.
Totally.
Additionally, Apple and Google take a 30% cut on any sales from the App Store. So if you want to monetize the offering, we typically recommend using direct placement ad units, sponsored push messaging, and then, you can also have different businesses pay to have a geofence around their business that incentivizes people to actually come in and participate in whatever offer they have.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll show you another quick instance. Travel Oklahoma does use the ad units. So if you go to travelok.com, you'll see they've got their widget button bottom left. And when I open it up, as I'm scrolling through the list views, I see ad units interstitially displayed. And the ads don't have to be, external advertising. They're using them to promote Route 66 roadside photo ops and, museums and more. It's really whatever ad units you want to showcase in the system. And there's all kinds of analytics built in, so you're able to see, total usage across the widget and the apps, the amount of downloads and sessions, which items and tours are the most popular. All of this is included in the offering that you guys have on the proposal.
Great, thank
Okay.
you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, interesting.
Absolutely.
So that means that people could download it on their phone and it would be a little widget as well.
Yes.
That's right. I thought, but I just wanted to clarify, yeah.
Well, we appreciate you guys giving us the time to walk you through all this. Let us know if any questions come up, and have a great rest of your day.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to be the host again, Marty.
I'm sorry?
Are you able to take over the host?
I think so. Let me figure out how to do it again.
Is there a widget that he has done that we could download on our phone just to see what it looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pagosa Springs would be a good option, as well as visit Jacksonville.
But do we go to the Apple Store for that? How do we do that?
Yeah, probably,
for instance, you can check out.
what would it be called? Visit widget, probably.
So when they want to look for the app, Eric, do they go to Visit Widget?
No, each app is completely branded for each area, so you would search Visit Pagosa Springs in the App Store or Visit Jacksonville. Alright, it looks like you got the share back, Marty, so we're gonna hop out. Let's
All right. Thank you, Eric and Rylan. I appreciate your time, and we will stay in touch.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
You don't have to really download it, but if you do go and put Visit Pagosa Springs in the Apple Store, it does show you and you can make a choice if you're going to download it, but it does have a 4.8 review, so that's cool. So the way I'm understanding his price tier, so has anybody else approached us with this? Is this pricing kind of standard?
Nobody else has made the same. It's a different app altogether than other things that we've seen. So I can look and see if I can find something comparable.
You got me out of my thing here.
Huh?
Would we
I can't even
need
get back to my
to?
board.
Does it matter?
Well, you should be. You're on the city. I don't know why yours is given. It's not even coming up.
What are you looking for, Tom?
Well, I can't find the internet on him thing. It's not popping up.
Well, she was trying to get me to that widget, and so I lost the.
You lost your packet?
He lost everything.
I lost the meeting. Is that today's?
I don't know.
Let's see.
See, it's coming up
It
weird.
doesn't have a date.
It's just weird. Get out of it completely. Let's get out of this completely. Let's start all over. So you keep saying your internet's not connected, and I can't find it, so we're gonna go down here. Now,
Hey Marty,
Yes, Phil.
did you get my message last night why I wasn't getting on early?
Yes, I did. And so they have made their selection, and I will forward that to City Council for City Council's approval.
why is this not?
Okay?
Sounds good, but
It's just in
All right.
the dark.
that's all it is.
Okay, we're having some technical difficulties. Let me see if I can't fix this.
Yeah, it looks like he's on the tourism, but I can't, it's all not highlighted, nothing's highlighted.
Oh, you lost your Google Apps and everything.
Everything.
Let's see.
I went in on here.
Yeah, that's how you usually do it. So. Yeah, but it's not there. So we're gonna put.
Hey, Marty,
Yes, sir.
just let you know, I may have to jump off, shortly after 11. I got something else I need to go do, so just, I'll let you know.
Alrighty, thank you.
Now it's highlighted. Here's nothing's highlighted, nothing's popping up.
You're not connected to the internet.
Well, and it won't find the City of Trinidad's internet. That's the biggest thing. That's why I went for. Because it's just, nothing is, I think we need to shut it down and start it back up. Because it won't find the City of Trinidad.
I can just.
That's all it's gonna pop up. It won't pop up anything else.
Oh, that is odd. It's searching, but it's not.
If that's all it's doing, it's searching. It won't, if that's all it's keep doing. My advice right now is to turn it off and turn it back on. Cause something's screwy on it. So, we start over. Did you turn it off?
No, I didn't, but you can.
Turn it off, Tommy, and then,
Alright, so then you don't have an
and then
agenda in front
we'll
of
start
you.
back up.
You wanna do the agenda? Cause I don't have it.
Oh, you can use mine. I'm good. Happy to do it.
You can use mine too while I'm playing with
Oh,
yours.
there's mine. There's my water thing. Look at that. Wonder how long that's been.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think we're
Approval
Back
of
on
minutes.
track?
Okay, Tommy, do this and then.
Approval of minutes for September the 20th regular meeting. We can have a motion.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from September 9th.
And I'll second.
Campbell,
Aye. Yeah.
Kress,
Aye.
Luttrell,
Aye.
Michaels,
Aye.
Financial. Approval of invoices, review. Did everybody have a chance to look at the invoices?
Everybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve the
invoices.
Yeah, invoices. Marty, what's the password for Trinidad Tourism?
It's right there on the.
It's on your computer. There's a
Gotcha,
little.
never mind.
See, she foresaw us.
I see it, I know, I see it.
I love it. She put it on our.
I'll
We're
second your
still having
motion.
technical difficulties here.
And she said,
So did
Amanda
I hear a
seconded.
second?
I'll
for-
second.
Okay.
Mhm.
Campbell,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Luttrell,
Yes.
Michaels.
yes.
Review current financial report.
I requested a budget, a current budget financial report from Cheryl, from our finance department, so that is in your packet. Was there any questions or?
Are we discussing, let me see, page 23 yet? Would that be a part of this discussion? 23 where it has the color-coded bars?
That is actually advertising and publication.
That's the next one.
That's the next
So
one.
we're not there yet.
So the one that you're looking at is
Page 20?
Yes, 20
Okay.
is your financial report. And so all your current fiscal activity, your period activity, your encumbrances are all listed.
Okay, what is the note?
The note was, that through the second quarter, or through the second half, 2 properties are paying monthly, from the Airbnbs.
Okay,
And the third quarter collected, the third quarter will be collected and reported on around October the 20th.
okay.
So I don't have those yet.
Okay.
But your first 2 your revenue total, you can see is, 178,321, and let's see. I'm showing that in the red. Am I reading that right?
Let me take a screenshot. Let me look at that for just a second, Cal.
It's,
178?
You know, actually, I could do it on my phone too.
178,321.
It's got a negative, right, so
Right,
it's,
it's showing in the red. I don't understand that. But then I'm not a big numbers person anyway, so that's entirely up to you to decipher these numbers.
Look at that real quick here.
does that mean that our current budget would have been 325,000, but we have only collected 146,000?
Right, so for the remainder of the year,
We need 178.
at least 178 to balance.
To balance that budget.
That's what makes it sense to me.
Okay,
But
So-
I understand.
what you're saying?
Yep, I think so.
so can, right offhand, I don't know if anybody can remember that, but we had a shortfall of 35,000 the first quarter, is that what it was? And then, do you remember what the second quarter was, Marty, what the shortfall was? Or?
I believe the percentage was 20%, but I don't remember the exact numbers. I think that's in the last packet, Tom, if you wanted to go back to that packet, it shows you those,
I can't even
budget shortfalls.
I had written them down, but I grabbed the wrong notebook.
And we still have 2 quarters to go, essentially,
Right,
on
so, right, so the third quarter, I'll have the figures for that around the 20th, we should have the final.
this. Okay. And if, let's say we do not collect 178,321 with the last 2 quarters, are we required to then go back and fix the budget so that things balance out correctly? Because we haven't spent all that. We
Right.
haven't spent the 325 at this moment. We can move things around.
Yes.
Okay. Is that something that needs to be done like before the first of the year, or?
We'll take a look at it again in
We-
October when we get these final numbers,
Okay.
November when we get these final numbers.
Right.
So I'll put that on the work session agenda and we can
We actually
manipulate our
won't.
budget as we need to, our line items as we need to balance our budget.
Okay, and then whatever's left over, if we have any left over, that goes into the fund, right, into the savings account, so to say?
And Marty, what was our third quarter last year funding? Do you have that any?
I don't have it in front of me,
Yeah.
Si, I'll have to go back to the other packet and
No,
find
that's
it.
okay.
And the last 2 quarters of the year are the slowest quarters, so,
Well, but the amount that we get paid in October will be pretty comparable to last year because it is July, August, and
Okay.
September that gets paid October 15th to the 20th.
okay,
Right.
So if it was
Fourteen.
comparable, I was gonna make a comment that we would, and I think it's gonna be comparable to last year,
Okay.
but I just don't know what that number is.
Okay.
It's the second quarter deficit that we have to make up.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's the big
But-
hit.
but we're, unless that number is, what is the amount we just got from, in July, from March, April, May, do we know, remember? I know it was 35 short, but how much was that amount, do we remember?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. But it's unlikely that we're gonna collect $178,000 the rest of the year.
Okay.
It's probably, I don't know.
Maybe,
But if you'll remember also, we did readjust
Yeah,
the
we
budget
did.
from
We
the
did.
325,000.
Yeah,
We readjusted our budget, so, we should have compensated for all
I
of that.
know,
We're not, the expenditures aren't what we,
hey, Marty, maybe,
had budgeted for originally, cause we readjusted the budget.
Okay.
I guess we'll know next month.
maybe when we do the next financials, when you get the, for, what
When
is
I get
it?
the October 20th, I mean,
July,
the
August, and
second quarter,
September.
yes.
Then maybe we could have where we really stand before we go into the last quarter, then we'll,
Yes, so it'll be on your work session agenda. The next work session is the last Wednesday of this month. And that'll be a line item, an agenda item that you'll have probably lengthy discussion on so that we can make sure that we are balanced.
okay.
And is our 2021 budget totally solidified, done? Is it ready?
It's been submitted, it hasn't been,
Okay.
it hasn't been accepted, I think, by the city council. Is that correct, Phil?
He said he might need to get off, maybe he did.
Oh, he might have.
Yeah, you were over here helping everybody with the computers, I heard him say that.
Go ahead, repeat that again.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, cause he said about 11 he would.
The tourism board has submitted their 2021 draft budget. Has it been accepted by city council as of yet?
Oh, no, we will have a work session on it, coming up, and then, probably in the first part of December is when we finalize that budget.
Okay,
We
so,
still have ways to go. We have a draft that we are reviewing at this time. So like I said, we will be finalizing that probably the first week in December, I believe.
so I think the question is then, Mayor, is there time to adjust any numbers in the preliminary budget for tourism yet before it is finalized by city council?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we will have that work session, and what I would do is get that information to Cheryl as soon as you can.
Okay, I will.
Sweet. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, right now it's just in draft form.
Okay. And maybe after October 20th, third quarter financials, then we can go back and just
Right,
make sure everything's covered.
right,
That would feel good.
okay. Anything else on financials?
Oh, thanks for your hard work, Marty.
Oh, you're welcome. So at the last meeting, it was requested to put together a spreadsheet on advertising and publication line item in our budget so that it showed you history. So I gave you 2019 expenditures, the 2020 expenditures, and 2021 encumbrances. I broke it down by print publication, advertisements, or advertising, visitor guides, and web and online marketing. I don't know why I can't rotate this form. Why is it coming up sideways? Are you able to rotate yours?
No.
No,
but
mine would
I'm
never stay.
Never rotate?
No,
Ah, that's annoying.
was it put in, so it has that effect? In a way?
When it's scanned, I'll have to figure out how to rotate it when I scan it. I apologize.
It's okay. Okay, so we're all caught up. The 2020 budget, as far as publications go, that's done, right? There's nothing else that's gonna show up there, that's everything for 2020?
That's coming out of the budget, yes.
That's coming out of the budget currently, and that's our budget that we just looked at a second ago.
Right, so any other, publications that are approved for going forward for the rest of this year will not come out of the 2020 budget, they will come out of the 2021.
Okay.
So you are actually working on your 2021 advertising and publication budget.
Okay, so in the encumbrances line for 2021, I don't remember how much we had set aside for our advertising in the budget meeting, but I know it was higher than we were doing so that we would not go over this time.
Correct.
And if I am correct, the publication, the Visit Trinidad Visitor Guide, is that included? I thought we made a separate line item for that.
We did.
Okay, so is
So
there a
it does
reason
not come out
why?
of advertising and publications,
Okay,
but it is still listed as such in the 2020 budget.
okay,
So I kept it comparable, across the board. So visitor guides were in previously in
Okay.
advertising and publications.
okay.
So I kept it there, but those numbers will not come out of advertising and publications, they will come out of contract services.
Okay, so is it safe to say that the total encumbrances that are listed currently will be $24,000 less than they are right now?
Exactly, so minus the 6,600 and minus the 18,000.
Okay. Does anybody remember what our budget line was for advertising for 2021? I don't have a clue what we had said, but I know we said higher than before so that we wouldn't go over.
We did 10 higher before.
We were at
60.
94, and did we go higher than the 94? That's right.
But also pulled out 50,000
Yes.
for the printing. So we moved 50,000 of the advertising line budget to a separate line
Right.
for the visitor
the
guide.
guides.
Because when I looked at this before, well, I just gasped because I thought, oh God, have we already overspent? You know, and that's what we were really trying to get ahead of for next year. So,
You have not, because
Because of
Because
the moving,
that
the moving of the
24
line item?
okay,
or 20, it's closer to 25,000, I believe it is, for the visitor, for the printing and the redesign of the visitor guide. It was also requested by the tourism board, a request was made to city council by the tourism board to see if there could be financial assistance in reprinting that publication as well. That hasn't been discussed, I don't think, by council yet. So Tom, do you have an update on that, or?
No, I don't. I was just told to put in a letter for request, and it was coming out of the marijuana money, which they had given, I think all of the boards a certain amount of the last quarter. So if we did get anything, it would be out of the last quarter of this year.
And that letter was drafted and sent, so we should hear something.
So whatever they give us would be great towards that.
Well, it was drafted and approved, I'm not sure if it's been sent. I'll have to follow up on that.
I think I beat this computer though.
Don't beat your computer. Okay, so any other questions on that? On the October work session agenda, I will have a complete packet of financials for you so that we have the draft or the redrafted 2021 budget,
okay.
so that you can check your expenditures and your encumbrances.
And, okay. And then maybe, well, and I'll do this for myself, but it would be helpful, like if we get the new draft kind of built up, I'm gonna print a copy of it and then have that with me at every single work
Yes.
session, so that when we do make decisions to go for new advertising, we can deduct it immediately and be on top of it.
So we know where we stand.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right.
If you can do a copy for all of us, Marty,
Yes, sir?
thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Marty,
Yes, sir.
I would get a hold of Cheryl and ask her when would be the drop dead date, or you turn in any changes to your draft budget, so that you make so that you'll know when that is, so you'll get it in time to review. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so I think that's it. We can go ahead and move on. Tom?
Old business, Colorado Life magazine.
At the last work session, you reviewed and agreed to move forward with Colorado Life magazine. However, it was a work session and it was not actually voted on. So if somebody would like to make a motion, if that is still the consensus.
And that is included, right? Yep, Colorado Life, I see it right
Yes.
there. I make a motion to approve the Colorado Life invoice or agreement.
And I second it.
Campbell?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Michaels?
Yes.
Luttrell?
Yes.
USA Today Hunt and Fish, Spring and Summer Edition, quarter page.
And that's the same scenario, so you reviewed it, you agreed to go forward with it, but in a work session you could not vote, so I will need a motion to move forward if that is still the consensus.
I make a motion to also approve the hunt and fish agreement.
If we do it on all of them, can we just do one motion to approve all the invoices?
We have to do them individually.
I'll second it.
It's just the two of them though.
Oh, okay, thanks, Marty. I'll second it.
Campbell?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Michaels?
Yes.
Luttrell?
Yes.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
You know, on something like this where you have something that you have.
How did I beat it? Took me a while. When you can start going down.
All of us, all these senior girlfriends of mine are getting so good at technology.
Okay, thank you.
Watch mine goes down to 2 now. Is it okay?
Yep.
It wouldn't connect to the Wi-Fi.
It's, for some reason it is hard
It
to
just
connect
done
in
it.
here.
It went down.
Hey Marty, again, one more thing on that is that there is one particular item, let's say you have 4 or 5 items on that consent agenda, at the beginning of your meeting, or even during the course of the meeting. If someone would like to have additional discussion on it, you can take that one item and place it in a different part of your agenda for the discussion. So you have some ability to move that around a little bit.
Okay, I'll look into that, thank you. Well, that being said then, publication printers is the printing of the visitor guides, and there are 2 costs associated with that. Is there any discussion on that, or did somebody want to make a motion to move forward?
Have we received the final draft yet? We haven't, right?
We have not.
Okay, so we still have to go over that before anything goes to
Right.
print. Okay.
Yes.
And we decided to do 5,000.
5,000 of the inserts and
Okay.
20,000 of the actual visitor guides.
Right, okay. And as soon as we okay the draft, then we just shoot it off to printers and everything
Right.
gets taken
So
care
this is only the agreement with the printer to move forward with those numbers.
of. Okay,
But there's no invoices attached, it's just the agreement.
so long as all the technical stuff looks good on like your side as far as what is, as long as
Right.
it looks good for what we're doing, I think it's great, that's fine.
Okay, so then,
We have a motion.
we have a motion.
I make a motion to accept for the printing, the 20,000 and 5,000 inserts.
I second.
Campbell,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Michaels,
Yes.
Luttrell,
Yes.
and Tom, before you leave the meeting today, I'll need signatures on these, agreements
Okay.
for the printers.
Mountains and Mesas,
Mountains and Mesas has not been discussed previously, but it has been an ongoing publication that the Tourism Board has agreed to advertise in. She just approached me about a week and a half ago, but I see that her deadline on there is the end of October, so I included it in your packet. And the Mountains and Mesas sizes are quarter page, half page, and full page for 500, 700, and 900 respectively. Then there's the Spanish Peaks Fast Facts publication. That is not one that you have advertised in previously. And then there is the Summer Guide to the Scenic Highway of Legends, which is another one that you have not advertised in previously. I didn't know if you wanted to change any of your means of advertising with the World Journal, or if you wanted to stay consistent with what you've done previously.
Previously, it's been Mountains and Mesas, half page, fourth page.
We did a half page last year and a full page we did a full page last year and a half page the year before.
Are the prices still the same as they were?
Yes, they have not changed.
They haven't changed.
Mary Jo comes and drops off papers every Thursday, and she said they're totally out of Summer Guide.
They are?
And I think maybe Mountains and I don't know if Mountains and Mesas too, but she hasn't been able to deliver any because they've been going so fast, which I think is a good sign.
It is a good sign.
People are picking them up. I think people are paying attention to them. It's kind of a way to support local, and I think that's something that we're trying to do. So I think as far as which one gets the most readership, Mountains and Mesas is the one that's the most professional.
Yeah.
It's the glossy, it's like a magazine type.
I agree.
She doesn't come in anymore, she might drop them off at all to me.
She's out, just kidding.
Well, she never has, though,
Yeah.
she never has.
So I don't, maybe we should stick with what we've been doing and
And we did a quarter page, you said, Marty?
We did a full page last year and a half page the year before.
So you want to stick with the full page?
I think with Fisher's Peak coming up, that would be an excellent full page spread. And,
Okay, that being said, I have something that I need to note.
Okay.
Colorado Parks and Wildlife has asked that we do not advertise Fisher's Peak until it's open. So the ad that you had approved previously for the Colorado State Official Vacation Guide, we had put Fisher's Peak on the bottom half and we had put Trinidad Lake State Park on the top half. And Miles Publications that does this Colorado Tourism Office's advertising and publications contacted me and said that it was requested by Colorado Parks and Wildlife that we do not advertise Fisher's Peak until it is open.
Sure. So could we still have like the picture like we've done for years of Fisher Creek in the background, but then do city
Absolutely,
stuff?
but no mention of the park itself.
okay.
Oh, Mark,
Yeah, that makes sense until they get trails
Yes, sir.
done.
Now, this is Bill, question on that, did they give you a reason why?
I actually
Well, you
didn't
can't send
I
it.
didn't
Nobody can go there.
speak
You
to
can't advertise it.
CPW. That was
Right.
secondhand from Miles, and that's all he said was that they were contacted by CPW and they were asked not to do any Fisher's Peak State
Until they're
Park
open?
until they were
And maybe
open.
that's because maybe people are trying to go there and they
Yeah,
can't open.
that's what I would think,
I would
right?
think
Just,
Well, you can't send anybody there if it's not open.
right.
Right.
But, I mean, they do have bathrooms by the entrance, so I can see people want to curl over.
But the gate's locked.
Gates are for good people like you and I. Gates mean nothing to.
Move forward and have an opening, let's say, whether it's in the first quarter of the year or mid-year, your advertisement that you are trying to do encompasses the entire year.
Right?
So that's going to put your advertising
Yeah, me too.
Right?
So let me see if I can get some clarification. Matter of fact, I'm
Awesome.
have it before I leave the meeting today.
Thank you, Mayor, appreciate that. Okay, so then once we hear back from the mayor on clarification on that, we'll probably decide what type of advertisement we're gonna put together. I thought it was time
Yeah,
to let people
right.
know that
Sure.
it's,
No,
that,
you're right.
you know, that it's going to be open in 2021, and those are the advertisements that we're doing now is our 2021 marketing and advertising, so
Right.
I thought it kind of put us behind the 8 ball, but,
Well, if you don't come out till March or April, I see what the mayor's saying.
Right.
That's good.
yeah.
But what could we do then for mountains and mesas? Just a picture of Fisher's Peak in the background, but then like, you know, restaurants and downtown
Right.
and.
Kind of the same
Golf.
same thought process. Just keep in mind that people will probably follow the same trend as they did for this summer, next summer, because they've discovered something new now,
Right.
which is the outdoors, and they were happy with it and they enjoyed it. And
Right.
not to say that once things relax to some sort of normalcy, that, you know, they might want to go back to the museums and the amusement parks and that sort of thing, but right now what's trending is the outdoors, so it
Yeah.
might behoove us to stay along that path.
Can I ask a question? The space to create, where is it going? How is the bottom spaces gonna be rented out, or, you know, cause that would be a cool thing, the finished product of it, you know, and how is it, what's going on with it? You know, I see none of the spaces at the bottom have been rented out.
It's not, they're not ready to be rented out until that
None of
meeting, no. The apartments upstairs are being rented, but the downstairs is not ready because they don't have that common area, it's still being construction, so they're not
So
having
they
those,
can't rent the
they
units
can't rent the
even?
bottom out.
Cause you see, you know, we see a lot going around Trinidad, but like Main Street, you know, I'd like to see some stuff on Main Street.
I have asked the city, I have asked Wally to put a sign in the window to please say retail spaces coming soon. Because it's very misleading for our tourists coming by there. They keep telling me repeatedly, not once or twice, a lot of empty buildings in Trinidad, and they're pointing to those buildings over there. And I've asked Wally twice now to get a sign in the window to say,
Opening soon.
opening soon, rental space coming soon. I know of people living upstairs already, but that rental is not ready. And they said another 6 months. So I don't know if that's still the case.
Another
That's
thing,
what I've been told.
another thing is,
some desks.
the Mitchell Museum has been designated as one of the top 10 Western museums in the United States. Could we possibly do something?
Well, on
With
that end,
that.
what we're talking about with mesas, we could maybe ask.
But keep in mind that we discussed this, or you discussed this earlier about double dipping. Okay, so A.R. Mitchell Museum will have their own ad in many of these publications.
Right.
And
Good point. But,
Well, I'm just wanting
Could be like a
to
list, could
I
be like
just
a
want,
multiple.
That's what
I just
I'm
wanted to be
thinking.
focused on what's going on Main Street, you know?
Mitchell Museum,
right.
Art
You know.
Cartopia, Mitchell Museum, the skate park, all
Even-
the amenities.
Yeah.
Even the state park facilities, I mean, the back on the Bloom,
Uh-huh.
you know, what's the status with it, Marty?
Do you know?
Are they
Currently,
open?
the only portion of that complex that's open is the Santa Fe Trail Museum. The grounds are open for tours, but the museums are not. Just the Santa Fe Trail Museum is.
Well, we could still
Rock
advertise.
and Bloom or not.
Yeah. That new
But-
person seems good. I haven't met them, but I've seen some posts on Facebook.
Abigail Melton, I think is who's
Yeah.
still managing it right now until they hire somebody.
Oh, I thought it was something
Even this little park that they're building on Commercial Street, you know, a completed picture of it, and
It's privately
It's
owned,
private,
it's not
so-
city owned.
Yeah, it's privately owned.
but
And I
it's
think
still
we
gonna be
need
an
to
attraction
It
though,
is,
isn't it?
without a doubt.
Oh, absolutely,
You know.
but I think we can't invite people to see it until it's complete.
Yeah, that's another thing.
But
get
but
that. I
like
get
like, in the sense of things that are coming. Like, we know that Space to Create is coming, we know that that's coming, you know, when people see things like that, they say, well, let's make a plan that we're gonna go see them, you know, but I think if we had dates as.
Can I say something? Space to Create is a wonderful building, but it's not necessarily something people are gonna come to see. They're gonna come to the retail shops.
Mm-hmm. Well, aren't they part retail and artist-driven things?
Well, but that's where you have the retail shops coming in. So there's nothing to go see at Space to Create unless there is shops there. So until there's shops there, you really can't, I mean, I can't see advertising the building and they're gonna go come and see the building and they're gonna come and look and say, what's that?
I'm saying what's coming, you know, that's why I asked what's going on with it.
Well, we don't know what's coming until you get shops in there. There is nothing coming to Space to Create until those shops are up and running that people rent out the shop.
I think I'm hearing all you guys have a good idea, so we could actually have two lists, things like, to come to Trinidad now, there's the Riverwalk, the Frisbee Field, the golf course. We could have things that's going on, and then looking forward to coming, watch for news 2021. You could either do both on the same page or two separate, ads, and then you could do Space to Create, a new Hilton Garden Inn, a new Sister Park. You could do that if you wanted, but there are things they can already do when they come here outdoor.
Even like at Fort Wooten, this is a veterans thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's veterans that travel throughout the United States looking for things,
that's good.
Points of interest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's and those are the things that we need to point out as points of interest.
Yeah, things to do and around the Trinidad area.
You just want to be safe and make sure you don't false advertise.
Right.
You make sure that you're not giving them something that they
But
can't.
if we're informed about a lot of these things, then we know what we can do.
Totally. Yeah. And that's our job. We gotta stay updated on that stuff. You know what I mean? But it is. We also are dealing with the pandemic and things being slowed down dramatically in every facet of life. So
things to do to come to Trinidad outdoor for the weekend. There's the Riverwalk. There's golf. There's the Frisbee course. There's dog park. If you're traveling, you want to stop and eat at one of our cool restaurants and take your dog eat to a dog park. People are always looking to pull off the road and give their dogs a break. We can
the wormhole.
The wormhole. Trinidad State Lake, only minutes away from downtown Trinidad. We're not doing the peak yet, but we could do that. Fishing in our Purgatory River that winds through the center of our town. But we could, give them ideas for outdoor things that they could do.
So if you scroll down in your packet on that, the ad that we did last year in Mountains and Mesas, there's a note on there that also says, so last year, you'll see that History Colorado did a full page, Art Cartopia did a quarter page. Let's see.
So it's like the doubling up, right?
In other words, everybody is doing.
A.R. Mitchell did a full page, Monument Lake did a half page, the golf course did a quarter page, and Trinidadio did a full page. So those are historically the other entities in town that advertise in Mountains and Mesas. So they will be, if they decide they're going to advertise it again, this is just kind of the history of what has been done before. And so I noted that just so that we're not re-advertising the same things that they're advertising, so we can focus on other outdoor activities.
I always love the way you center us and get us back.
But that's a good point.
Why don't we help with the downtown area then? We still have numerous restaurants and venues that are open. We still have things, that they could come. There's lots of restaurants. Bob and Earl's is doing great, and for breakfast places, and we have Tony's, and we at lunchtime we have different outside venues that people can sit at. Moose's is doing that. The cafe's doing that. Walter's doing that.
But there's only so much you could do in a one-page ad.
Yeah,
I don't think you could do
all
all that.
I wouldn't do that. I would just don't forget, Trinidad has lots of outdoor activities.
I would go for more of that. And
know.
then to advertise the Blues Fest, the History Museum, because they're, like you said, they're already
Yeah.
advertising.
Right.
That would be, I would just visit Trinidad, explore Trinidad. People come in and I tell them to go almost everywhere. I have a list of all the restaurants in town. And you know, basically they look at me and say,
Tease me, treat
what's
me,
your
they just ask.
hometown favorites? And that's been theirs, you know, and I tell them exactly where to go. And I also tell a lot of people to go to the Highway of the Legends, because our mountains are beautiful. People don't realize when they come to Trinidad, many people don't realize when they come out of Texas that we have mountains like we do in Colorado. And I tell them, go take a ride. It's going to take you an hour, and you'll come back to Trinidad, and they already have the motel room. They're staying here that night. So I just tell them, take a drive. So there is a lot more you could tell people to do that. Just explore Trinidad, visit Trinidad.
And you could use keywords like, you know, using keywords to visit downtown, eat at our restaurants. Keep it broad.
Keep it broad.
All the
broad,
things,
use
all the things that we
keywords.
talked about here.
Right.
That they can go on their smartphones or on our website and
Yeah.
look on our website for where you can eat, day trips, itineraries, you know, kind of things that just that broaden it a little
Do
bit.
we
better,
have
right?
on the app, I guess we do, our website address. Maybe we should do it a little bit bigger and tell them to go explore Trinidad, explore our restaurants, explore our day trips, our
Have we ever advertised that?
What?
The webpage?
It's on every ad that
it
we
is
post.
on every
It's
ad.
always
I
on
just see
our
it.
ad.
Maybe we should have it
Our
bigger.
website is always on every
Every ad.
So is our logo, and so is the Facebook icon, so that they can send them to our Facebook page as well.
Right.
It's on every ad.
Okay.
So that being said, then I would need a motion to advertise, and you would have to select a size.
Maybe let's just do half page. I don't know. We could do a half page and get all that in there and it still be effective. If we were doing Fisher's Peak, I would love to do a full page spread.
Maybe this year we'll
Feature.
skip and just do a half page, like you said, because of that. Because they, you know, this Fisher's Peak, you know, I could agree with them coming in 2021, and we're spending money on something that's not here right now. You know?
So I do think, I don't know who did that. Did you see out I watched somebody do it. I don't know if it had to do with Kayvon or who it had to do with, but I saw that little pop-up colorful Trinidad ad that Wally was promoting on Facebook.
That's for the bicycle,
cool.
the Common
Yeah.
Bicycle Festival for 2021.
Yeah, I really liked
With
that.
the peak and the Simpsons
Yeah.
Rest,
Yeah.
all of it kind of layered
I
on
really
top of each
liked
other.
that.
Was cool.
I mean, I don't know if the difference of the price, and I don't have it in front of me, if it's 500 to 900 or 600 or 700 to 900. If it's
Mountains and
only
Mesas?
yeah, if it's only $200 difference, the splash of one page would be better than a half. But
So, half page, let's see, quarter page is 500, half page is 700, and full page is 900.
so,
Like you said, you're gonna get more for the 200 more.
yeah, I mean, more notice as you're flipping a
More
page.
notes, yeah, $200.
So
Full page?
Yeah, I
Hey
don't know.
Tom, this is Bill. I'd like to make a comment before you move forward with the Monument Lake advertisement.
Advertising,
Let you
you know.
know, the commission know, that we are going to be looking for a new operator. The operator that was there is no longer there. And I'm not sure where it's going at this point in time. We have not put out any advertisement for a new operator, but we will be doing that here shortly. But just want to let you guys know that how you advertise that is going to have to be, I think Amanda said that, for engineering. So just be careful with your advertisement is how it is worded.
Yeah, I thought about that. Monument
I
Lake's
didn't
not
hear what
open.
he said.
Monument Lake's not open right now, so be careful with
So-
advertising.
They haven't advertised yet.
There's
Operator.
Right, there's no operator for the lake yet.
Okay.
The city is currently honoring all reservations that are still ongoing. You know, if somebody's made a reservation, the city's honoring it. But the city is actually the operator at the moment. There isn't a there isn't
I
a
wish I had
contract
time
there
to
signed.
operate there.
Yeah,
That would be
you
so
just
much
stay away from
fun.
I'd have to quit my day job and go
Yes,
out
I
to.
do have information.
You should already know. We need your story.
Whenever you want me to speak about that.
All right, thank you, Mayor. You can go ahead.
Okay, I talked to Brett Ackerman, who is the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Southeast Region Manager, and he has been person that is in control pretty much of the Fisher's Peak, between him and Crystal Riley, and of course a few others. And I talked to him about the advertisement, and I explained to him my concerns, and he agreed with me. So what we would like to do is, I need the contact person, whoever contacted you, a phone number or an email, as soon as you can get it to me, so that I can get back to Brett and explain, so that, because he's, what I told him was that if there is an opening, whether it's early in the year or mid-year, that you are currently in the process of planning your budget for 2021, and if we don't have that information in hand, that is going to put us behind with your advertising of the peak. So he was pretty in favor of doing something, but he feels like there is something that can be done, but I do need that contact information so that he can contact him. And probably what will happen is between that person and you to come up with maybe some way to advertise peak.
Okay, I will certainly get that to you as soon as we're out of this meeting, Mayor, then I will forward that information to you.
You have my phone number. Why don't you text it to me, because I may be out and about.
Okay,
So if you text that to me on the phone, get that over to you.
all right, I will do. Thank you, Mayor, appreciate you taking care of that. Okay, so Diana Dirks has joined us. Oh wait, let's vote on that page size real quick before we move forward.
I will go ahead and motion to do a whole page in Mesas and have Tom work with Marty on what we're gonna put into it.
Okay.
And if we have the ability to do Fisher's Peak, I think that should be the
Yeah.
focus. If not, then we'll keep it as a broad, explore Trinidad, come see our restaurants, our downtown, our shopping, everything like that, outdoor stuff.
We have lots of outdoor stuff.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
I'll second that.
Wade in our waters.
Campbell,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Michaels,
Yes.
Latrell.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, we can actually adjourn the meeting, if you like, and then we'll go into this, Buxton presentation.
We'll adjourn the meeting.
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
What time does that say?
11:05.
11:05, isn't it?
I know, I have got, I don't remember.
Okay. I'm okay though for a little while.
The next meeting is a work session, October the 28th, 2020, at 9 a.m.
How long is the presentation? Probably an hour.
Marty, I'm going to be leaving the meeting now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So, Diana, I'm actually the only one on the go-to meeting, so I'm going to share my screen with you and then make it visible to the board members. So just give me a minute to get you.
Yeah, I have to be,
You guys are on your own.
I'll have to be gone by about 11:15.
Of course, I'm
Who's your assistant?
assistant?
Yeah. My who?
Your assistant, when you're at Bob and Earl's and you really need to leave.
What is this?
I don't have one. I really don't.
So what if there's a customer problem?
It's
Individual people
on
take
the
care of it?
visitor profile study with the tourism
I'm there to
board.
handle it.
Well, I like it right now, if there's a
Requested a
problem.
while back.
No, we're close to it. So that's the only reason I could really be here today.
So you're closed on Wednesday?
She's on vacation.
I'm on we're closed for the week.
And actually,
You're close to the week, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
good thing for us to
Down
know.
and hold it for 3 seconds.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we'll be closed until next
So
Wednesday.
what do you
Yeah.
do then? Oh, you're just hanging out?
I
It's so
just
nice to
got
hang
too
out.
much
I'd give
to do
anything to be
now.
home for 3 days,
Yeah.
actually.
And I'll run back.
3 days at
Me
home.
too.
without
Okay,
ever
so when it's
leaving.
over, just hit the top of the camera and that's all I need to do?
It's a dream.
Yeah, and I'll
Oh,
run
yeah.
back and
So I'm gonna enjoy it while it lasts.
Okay. Diana, you should be able to share your screen.
Let me know whenever you can see my screen.
It's just not a very good screen. Even at 100%, it's just hard to see. I'm gonna see if I can plug it into the cameras here. Not sure if I can or not. I don't see the remote for the cameras though.
This is it.
Yes. Thank you.
How does it look? Are you able to see my screen?
I can, but I'm trying to make it larger.
Okay.
How do I make it bigger? Let me find
Get rid of that up to the side. Nope.
Nope. Oh, now I lost her altogether, didn't I?
Go down to that little circle there, right there.
There you
Okay.
go.
Now, try to X that big white box over there on the side, Marty, on your right-hand side. See where the X, where it says people?
Right?
Get rid of that. Okay. Now, this is what she's showing us, a map or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've got her at 100% though, and it's still.
Okay, do
just
that,
showing-
see that plus sign over there? At 100%, it is at
It's
100%.
at 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's as good as we're gonna get it, Diana.
Alright.
Okay? Alright, can everybody hear her?
Yeah.
Alright, you're good to go.
Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us today, and let me present this to you. I am going to look at a couple screens that I'm working with here. I'm first going to jump into some of the new reporting features that we have in Scout. One being Mobilytics, and two being our new match methodology, and then we'll jump into the visitor analysis. So let me close this side screen. Okay. So for our first new reporting feature that you all have availability within Scout, and this is our Scout platform for those of you that have not seen this platform. What we're looking at is we're able to determine where people are coming from based off of a specific geography. So we can create a custom geography on the map and then capture all the people within that visited that specific geography based off of their cell phone pings, and determine who's come, where they came from, and what those particular visitors look like. So I have a couple of examples that I ran previously. One I did on Trinidad Lake State Park. And so what you would do, so if you were to do this currently in Scout, if you're a user, I'm going to jump to the hybrid view. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a custom polygon around the campground to see who's coming to visit that particular area. So if I were to right click on the map, down to add territory. Then I will click on the map to draw my custom boundary. And then I'm going to save that. Let's call this. So I have to give it a title and then tell where I want to save it. So I've created this Mobilytics folder already, and so we're going to go ahead and save that there. I'm not going to hit add because I already have this polygon saved, but I wanted to show you how you would create that custom territory. So once you have that custom territory drawn, you would go over to territories and turn on that layer. It's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to switch back to the street view. So you can see that custom shape that I drew. And then it's simple as you would right click within the boundary, create a report, and scroll down to the Mobilytics Insight report and select that. We'll give it a name. Just for example purposes, I'm just going to type this. You can give it a time frame, so if there's a specific time frame you'd like to view, you have the capability of entering those dates. So for example, if there's a farmer's market within the city, you could draw a custom boundary where, within that parking lot or that street where they have that, and the date for that in that time range. If it's from 8 to noon, you have the capability to change that. So I'm just going to leave the date as it is. Again, if there's a specific time frame that you wanted to select, you can change that, or we'll just go ahead and select all day, and then you would just hit submit.
Can you change it, Diana, to reflect January 1 to date? Just so, I mean, if we're going to look at it, let's at least take away some information.
Until 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And until 8 o'clock at night?
Sure.
So 1/1/2020.
To current date.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then change the time from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Let's just see
8
what,
a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
let's see what we got.
See what we got.
So it'll take several minutes for it to run, but I'll go ahead and pull up the report that I ran previously, just to show you what it looks like.
And that was from 1/1/2019, right? So last year?
So your report is currently running, but I ran a previous report, so I just wanted to show you what the actual report looks like.
Okay.
So this particular time range is from January 1st of 2019 through the current date, and I just selected the all-day time range. And so this first map, so what these dots represent are the visitors that visit this particular polygon that we created. Now, the report, Marty, I think you recall the report that I had viewed with you earlier in the year, which was a mobile, is similar to report, but it only went out 2 hours, whereas this report goes out the entire US. Right. So as I scroll out, you can see where, sorry, I'm on my laptop here. Where your visitors are coming from. So there's several several ways that we can actually view this. So right now what we're viewing is the actual household. So these aren't exact rooftops, but they're pretty close because due to privacy reasons, we gotta randomly disperse them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still up to about 500 feet. So as I zoom in, there's a couple variables that we can change. So right now we're viewing the home locations. We can actually change it to see where they work, where those visitors work. If you're happy to be presenting in a presentation, there's different views that you can change that. So instead of a light, we could change it to a dark view. And then there's several ways that we can visualize the data. So right now we're just looking at the individual household dots. There's a hexagon view where you can jump in and you'll see the darker the area, the higher concentration that people are coming from. You can zoom in, so.
People from them.
Mm-hmm. Marty, I'm gonna sneak away.
Yeah, I have to go through.
Sorry.
Darn.
It looks like there's a little lag here. Let me jump to the heat map and see if that'll. Here we go.
Oh, that's really visible. That's, I like that one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and as you zoom out, you can see the higher concentrations that people are visiting from.
So if you zoom out to include Texas area, Amarillo, and that area, that's usually our higher concentration of visitors is from the
Southern.
yeah.
Southern.
So you can see you've got a high concentration in the Denver, Colorado Springs, Pueblo area, Albuquerque, Dallas. Looks like a little lighter in Amarillo. You can scroll across the map to see where those are coming from.
So those
And one
little,
thing you can do too is this bottom right hand corner. You can customize your visualization, so just depending on what you're wanting to view.
so 50, when it says radius, radius of what? Radius of Trinidad?
In regards to the area, the concentration for the area, just how far out you want it to go.
And look at how many
So
Santa
if
Fe
you were to
people
zoom
come
out,
here too.
Yeah, got it. So a 73-mile radius. And that's over almost a 1.5 year period,
correct.
right?
Oh, yeah, now that's interesting. Yeah, now do it from January to now. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, so she's generating that report now, so we'll be able to see that later.
And look at down in Florida, that part of Florida.
And if you like, we can go ahead and it looks like the report is finished running, so we can go ahead and open that up and I can just finish reviewing the report with that one.
Perfect, thank you.
Maybe that billboard on Monument's really gonna do us some good, huh?
Yeah.
No?
I haven't seen it yet. I missed it
I
when I
have.
came back. Is it good?
It's fast though.
Okay,
It's
so
fast. But if you sit there and watch it,
this
you're
report was from the
really
date range
they're
from the
passing
beginning
through.
of this year through the current date. Let's see, I'm curious if the hexagon is right. Okay, there we go. There's the hexagon.
Oh, okay.
So same thing with the controls. You can, change the size of your hexagons and change the concentrations. That's a little bit harder to see, so I'm going to go ahead and jump back to the heat map.
kind of the same thing though. Even though the period of time has changed,
Yeah.
the,
It looks like you don't have as high of a concentration in the Dallas-Fort Worth market and not as high in Albuquerque compared to the full year and a half.
right,
But can we spread out more over the US just to see if there's any hot spots that have popped up?
there you go.
Could that be because of COVID too?
Yeah, absolutely,
You
sure.
know?
But it's
And
still,
then throughout this report, you can actually visualize, there's two ways to visualize the data, and you'll see this in several sections. There's a visitor, you can view it by visitor or visits, and what the difference between the two is you yourself would be considered a visitor. Now, if you visited this particular area, let's say 20 times, then that's what the visit represents, is the number of visits. So it includes those repeated visitors. So we can see if
Oklahoma,
that changes.
Phoenix, Chicago even's got a darker one.
Mm-hmm.
How about Florida down there in Florida?
The Tampa area I was looking at earlier and Orlando area are the two higher concentrations from Florida. That is neat, I really like this.
Yeah. And so I actually ran, well, I guess before I jump out, I also ran this on the Big R in town. And so you can actually draw this on any geography. So there's certain business owners that want to see what their visitor capture looks like.
What about our
It's
golf
interesting
course?
to see. The only two things I want to call out: the size of the geography can't be larger than 3 square miles, and then it's not also capturing every single visitor. It's capturing a certain percentage of them. So just know that in the back of your head.
Okay.
Like Si said, how about our golf course?
So if I drew a polygon, I can draw a polygon around the golf course and then just basically do the same thing that we just did there.
Absolutely.
Okay? All right.
You would, this is your golf course. I'm just going to do this really rough real quick. Then you were to right click, add territory, just start drawing your custom boundary. See that turn green once you closed it out.
Give it a name.
That's pretty cool, Tom.
Yes, it is.
Name. Tell it where you want it to save.
And
I
mo-
went ahead and created that Mobilytics folder, so you can just save it there.
So I can just continue to use that Mobilytics folder going forward?
Yep.
Okay.
So once it's saved, you can see that right now the Mobilytics territory layers is turned on. So then you would just right click, create report, go to the Mobilytics Insights. And then you can go back and change that if you want to see certain time frames.
Okay. And so I can just access by logging into Scout, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I have to go help with lunch, guys, so I gotta go.
Hi, Zach.
We'll see.
So then you have, this next section is a profile. So if you're familiar with segmentation,
Thank you, Sai.
basically we work, are using Experian data, and what we're identifying is what types of households these particular visitors look like. So think of, depending on how you spend your money and what your lifestyle behaviors are, you know, everything that's getting tied back to your individual household, depending on what those habits are, you're identified in a specific segment. So think of typically AO1 being your, you know, very affluent households down to a 71, which is your typically lower on the socioeconomic scale households. So we can take a look and get an understanding of what these particular households look like that are visiting the specific geography. And then if you hover on each of the bars, it'll show you the specific segment name and how much they account for within the visitors. And so as we scroll down, we can see here that small town sophisticates account for a large majority of the visitors. And so if you wanted to take a further look at what that particular household looks like, when you jump into Scout in the upper right hand corner, there'll be your initials there. You would hit the drop down and go to Learn and down to Segmentation Guide. And then go to the Understands portion. Type. Find that segment that you're wanting to review. So this will give you a quick glance, an overall glance of what this particular household looks like. So in this particular general overview, they're typically sophisticated, downscale singles and couples living in modest ex-urban small towns. And if you see this chart down here, if you click on that, you'll be able to understand a lot more about this particular household. So all of these variables within this list here are based off of an index. So think of 100 being average. This is showing you for this particular segment where they fall. So let's see here. So this particular household is 59% more likely to collect antiques. They're 10% more likely to listen to country music, 60s to 70s music, whereas they're least likely to attend aquarium or live theater. And so there's a lot of variables within there. Just to give you a few, just so you can understand this particular segment a little bit better.
They're mostly single.
Yeah. Now that doesn't mean all households are, it's just
right.
The majority. And then we'll jump into some of the demographic information. And again, you have the option to view this by visitor type or the number of visits. And so we see here in this particular example, number married. So for the visitors that attended that specific geography within the time frame, 81% are married, which is higher, and they're comparing it to the U.S. national average. So if we switch that by number of visits.
That particular line that you have highlighted now is the U.S. national average?
The black line is.
Okay.
So these orange, these yellow bars here represent your visitors.
Gotcha.
So some more demographic information. The next section is we jump into volume. So this is showing you, based off of the data, where the highest concentrations are of visitor volume. This is showing you by week. So this is telling me that June, end of July, beginning of August, beginning of September, are really the higher visitor weeks. Then we can also see that visitor volume by the day of the week. So surprisingly, Tuesday is actually a really popular day, followed by Saturday,
Tomorrow's almost
Friday, and so forth.
Tuesday's a big day.
And we're still talking about the campground, right? This is still the campground area?
Yes.
Right. Interesting.
This is also showing you visitor volume by hours of the day. So similar to what you would see on Google search. You can see certain time frames that are more busier than others. And this is, it's kind of hard to see here, but there are bars, or little squares here that represent every day, and you can see where there's a higher concentration on particular days where it's shaded darker.
Oh, I see.
And if you wanted to share this report with somebody, there's a share link, and it would just provide you a link that you can email to whomever.
Okay, so any one of us that are allowed to get into Scout, we can share it with the rest of the board members, because I think there are just 2 or 3.
Yeah, the current contract has up to, I believe, 4 Scout users.
Okay.
So you'd be able to share this to whomever, the link, and they'd be able to view this.
Okay.
Okay, do we want to jump into the other report, or do you want to take a look at see what the country club shows?
The country club.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Oh, he said country club.
The muzzle. Those are all the local golfers.
So it looks like they're mostly local.
Did she
Yes, mostly local.
Did she put dates in there?
I think we're still on January 1st, 2022 current.
Okay, there you go, Tom.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then let's just take a look real quick. So it looks like September 14th, August 31st, July 1st of last year, and July 22nd of last year.
So
are some of the
most
top
likely
visitor
there
days.
was a tournament or
Yeah.
something going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other report, Diana, I refresh my memory, what was that one?
So the other report, I'm going to turn this layer off, is what is called a scout match. So ultimately what you'd be able to do is select any point within your city limits to basically, you would pick a center and then matched to a particular retailer to see if they would be a fit for that particular shopping center or site. So if you were wanting, it's for retail recruitment. So if you were interested in recruiting particular retailers,
That is something I'd probably rather have my economic development director present for. So, I mean, it doesn't so much affect tourism as much as it does economic development. So maybe what we can do is maybe schedule it when Wally is able to attend.
okay,
Is that
we
an
can
option?
absolutely do that.
Okay, all right. So let's do that. After, shoot me an email and let me know what days are options for you, and I'll see if I can't get Wally on board to maybe attend that next presentation.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. That sounds good.
All right, I'm excited. I need to go in and do this now and gather some info that I can pass on.
Absolutely.
I think most everybody's interested in the COVID period where we were mostly closed and, you know, how it affected us. And
Yes.
if we still had folks coming in and where they were coming from, when they decided they needed to get out and come and, you know, do some outside recreation and things like that. So I have some data that I can gather for them for that period of time, and then going forward, you know, where are we now?
Right.
Good.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes.
All right,
Why don't
guys.
you
Well,
log
thanks
in?
for viewing.
Yes, I got it.
Okay,
I'll get you the
okay.
login information.
And we'll be in touch, Marty.
Okay, all right. Can you send me login information again so I can share it with the board? So they can
Yeah,
access the platform and then they can do it themselves. And it'll probably be, I think, I might have to use my login information because I'm not sure that some of these board members are users. So I'll probably have to share my login information with them. Okay? Okay.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, thank you, Diana. I appreciate your time as always. Are you still working from home or are you back in the office?
We are working from home still, but actually I'm in the office today.
Okay. I didn't hear any little ones. I just wondered. Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you go. Thank you again. And I'll be in
Thank
touch.
you so much.
Thanks,
All right.
Diana.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Bye.
Pat, thank you again for joining us. I guess she already left. Never mind.
I think that's the most valuable tool out of that too.
Yeah.
It's just the seeing where people come from. That gives us a better idea of what magazines might be, the ones to keep, the ones, you know, that appeal to the kind of people we're trying to
And
reach.
I think we really need to use it more.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially from that Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, there are a lot of those people come through here for the skiing. So,
Well, yeah,
you know,
but do they
but
stay or
also-
do they keep going?
They keep going. I mean,
Not all of them.
Yeah, some of them.
Some of them are
Some of
staying.
them-
A lot of
It's-
people stayed
it's-
this year.
It's just like this Miller. He said that they used to come through here all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been going on for generations.
Totally.
People
yeah.
have been just coming through here, and now a lot of people are
Oh,
stopping.
you have no idea how many times I hear that at the Welcome Center.
Yeah.
Oh, we just decided to stop in. We always just pass through.
And we
A
decided
lot
to
more
start
this
today.
year than
Yeah.
ever before.
Crazy.
Close to me ending with UPS, it was amazing the people that were moving here because of the pot.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Because they can, there was one couple on Kansas, they came from Florida and she's got cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So they just bought a house. And so she didn't have that. But in the outlying areas, it's amazing how many people are moving here just because of that.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's the